somewhat related article is Apple versus Google and this whole RCS controversy. Daniel, you're on a
Yeah, I
roll,
mean,
buddy.
look. Let's we don't even need to really go down too much down the technical rabbit hole. Let's just talk about this through the lens of the discussion, right? So there's been some discussions coming out. Does basically Apple need to open up the kimono to allow for RCS, which is a protocol, but basically to allow the texting to be ubiquitous? Okay, so Pat, why do you carry your iPhone device? Really, why do you have it at this
No,
point
I've
anymore?
I've said 100 times. It
I
is
know.
my iMessage. It is only for iMessage because my family will only use iMessage and not
Yep.
like, yeah.
But my point, this is the point. And so texting has become a fragmented experience. You text people on iMessage and you get a lot of features and capabilities and benefits when you're on iMessage. And when you have an iOS device and you want to text somebody that's on that really nice fold device, the experience is different. And the bottom line is Android is saying effectively, let's be less anti-consumer and let's make texting, given its pervasiveness in our lives, let's make it more ubiquitous across devices so that we don't have a experience that's significantly better when you're texting from Apple to Apple versus Apple to other devices. And so, this is a big question mark here, Pat, because to some extent, Apple's in the right to have a messaging capability that they add features to. They manage those features, they develop those features, they enhance them, and they put them out with their various versions of their iOS. And again, they do enable people to talk via SMS to an iPhone and between non-iOS devices. Having said that, though, the way you're able to react, the way you're able to inline message, the way you're able to share different apps and play different apps through the messaging all degrades. It's fragmented. And I think people are sort of saying, hey, and so here's the real thing, though, is Google is basically pointing out that, one, we need to take out the fragmentation, and two, they're pointing out that Apple is depending on an older standard. And by the way, to upgrade that older standard from RCS, from SMS and MMS to RCS, I think would basically unlock the key to making that ubiquitous messaging. And I'm not 100%. I need to do a little bit more fact checking on that. But there's something to be said that basically they wouldn't be able to hold the green, what do they call it? The green machine. They wouldn't be able to make everybody a green machine because now that RCS key would basically create continuity between the devices, Pat. So long and short is this, to me, is another story of Apple basically building proprietary technology that closes off ecosystems. That has been their story for as long as they've existed. The problem is now is texting has become a worldwide ubiquitous method of communication that people depend upon and that people are running on multiple operating systems. And largely what Apple's doing is shutting people out that don't buy iOS from having a better experience in their texting, forcing people to carry an iPhone or iOS device in order to message just like you. And the one thing that, by the way, made me think of, Pat, before we kind of send this over to you and let you wrap this home, but is I wonder how many of those people that you called Apple users that are buying those Samsung Fold devices are buying them as a second device versus people that are buying a Samsung device to replace their Apple device. I just wonder if they're well-off people like you that have enough resources they can afford to have two devices, two phone plans, all because they want to have better messaging experiences. So you know what? This isn't all because Google's a happy company that just cares about us. There's a reason Google wants this. It's good for Android. But going back to what we just said about Apple, Pat, they're Apple holes, man. They are Apple holes, and they will keep things as fragmented and difficult as possible in order to make Apple's experience better, which is conflictive in every marketing bone in my body because I get why they do it.
Yeah, I mean, this is 100% a monopolistic power struggle. And, let's face it, Google has a monopoly in certain parts of the Android and advertising market. Apple has a monopoly in North America smartphones. And being a monopoly isn't illegal. It's using monopolistic power to stifle competition and, impact pricing in the future. And what Apple's doing here is they are putting up a wall because they don't want people defecting from iOS to Android. And there are a ton of people, particularly in North America, that only use iOS devices because of iMessage. And, I am one of those people who's forced to use Apple technology. Now, RCS, just to fill in some of the blanks here, with RCS, you would have higher resolution photos, higher resolution videos. You'd be able to text over Wi-Fi, and there's a couple other features like, read receipts and stuff like that. So you would not be as, excommunicated from the family Grext if you had iPhones and Android devices. So this is just, this is up here with, Apple knows that it would lose iPhone sales, and it's not going to do this. And it would rather stick with, 1990s technologies. I think that's when SMS text standard was created, and to provide a better experience for everybody. I think the Department of Justice needs to look into this with Apple, the ad strategy, everything they're doing in the App Store, though actually those investigations are actually ongoing right now. But it's clear to me who the bigger, the monopolist engaging in anti-competitive and anti-consumer behavior, and that's Apple. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it there. Hey, I do like the Apple Watch. I do.
You know what, Pat? Like I said, I think I set this up fairly. If everyone wasn't always so rosy and they were just more realistic, it's like Google gets their hammerings from a lot of people about their competitive behaviors. People crap all over Meta and Facebook. People challenge Amazon's, Amazon can't do anything without they're being called a monopoly in healthcare. They haven't even finished the acquisition of One Medical yet. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I think with Apple, it just comes down to the fact that we've almost taken it like a personal responsibility to just say, hey, they should get some criticism too, because the good stuff's you can easily find all the positive stuff out there. But, again, they also tend to create the most passionate community. And as we know, that passionate community makes it very hard for regulators to do their jobs because nobody wants to have a worse experience, which is why most of these platform acts are in such trouble to begin with, because the consumer knows no harm. And
Right.
You can say they're creating competition in a marketplace, but you know what, when the consumer is happy, then, are you really going to make Facebook a worse experience? Or are you going to make Apple a worse experience? So you're going to punish the consumer because a company makes something that people love. So that's the thing we got to figure out. We need new antitrust laws, probably less focus on, store branding from Amazon. But anyways.
Well, also less focused on what somebody could do in the future versus putting your focus into what they're doing now, right now.
Good.